News Talk Weather.
Thanks to the AA, you can find our lowest car insurance price online, guaranteed.
Outbreaks of rain, heavy in parts of the east and north with a risk of thunder. Brighter conditions will develop though throughout the day in the south and west. Maximum temperatures of 16 to 20 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Hello there, you're very welcome along. So Ireland off to a perfect start in Pool A of the 2019 Rugby World Cup. A bonus point win over Scotland this morning in Yokohama. In just a few moments' time, we'll bring you thoughts from players and management as they trickle in. We'll have analysis from Ronan O'Gara in just a few moments, and then Keith Wood as well this hour. And then Premier League takes over. Chelsea-Liverpool live commentary coming your way 4:30. Before that, Manchester United away to West Ham. So it's a bumper day here on Off the Ball coming your way. 53106, the text number. We are at Off the Ball on Twitter. England currently 28 points to 3 up in Tonga. 73 minutes gone. England 23, Tonga 3. Sorry, England 28, Tonga 3. Neil Tracy alongside me in studio. So, look, Ireland were always expected to win this game, I suppose, but there's an extra little sheen on the scoreboard, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think everyone thought it was going to be as comfortable as it was in the end. Just looked really like a smart game plan from start to finish. It was not many two risks taken. Did the simple things well. Got a couple of tries early on, which obviously helps, and you're not, wondering going into the last 20 minutes about trying to, keep the scoreboard a little bit wide apart, and just kept things ticking over. But I think all down to a lot of really good work in the forwards. James Ryan was brilliant, CJ Stander brilliant again as usual, Ian Henderson had a really good game, and huge pressure in defence. Just kind of snuff out what Finn Russell and Stuart Hogg were doing. And it almost kind of bit by bit took care of itself. 27-3 in the end. Tries for James Ryan, Rory Best and Tyke Furlong in the first half. Andrew Conway after the break as well. And all those selection calls. Jordan Larmour worked. Andrew Conway seemed to work. CJ Stander had a good game when he was under pressure from Jack Conan. All in all, a very good start.
Absolutely. Let's go to Ronan O'Gara. You're there, Ronan?
Hi, Joe. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. So Ireland 27, Scotland 3. We were just saying there, most people probably expected Ireland to win one way or another, but a 24-point winning margin, there's just that extra sheen to the scoreboard, that's for sure. What did you make of the performance?
Yeah, the performance was really exciting. I think Joe was full of energy, full of enthusiasm, a lot of spark. You look at the benefit of even the coaching from an outside back point of view. Stockdale looked really on defensively. Their body language looked exceptional. They looked hungry. Sometimes at the start of big competitions, it can bog you down, but these guys played with huge enthusiasm and huge desire, and you could see that they really enjoyed it. And obviously, I think the major bonus was the players that came on. I think they actually added and probably took the performance levels higher to the people that they were replacing, so that spoke a lot for a squad system, because they're really going to need the squad if they want to make history.
Yeah, you mentioned the body language there. What kind of things are you talking about?
I just thought everything from the composure from the national anthem, I thought was interesting watching them. I think they got their composure levels were really good, and then obviously just setting the tone, and that can probably start in kind of little things like winning the battle to get set first in terms of like scrum and line out actually being set before the Scottish attack is set defensively. Other things in body language would be a huge amount of encouragement, like from tries or scored, great celebrations, and I think people sometimes ask, what does a dominant front five do? That is exactly what it looks like. You cannot underestimate how crushed the Scots were when they knew that they were getting absolutely nothing from scrum balls or penalties. Usually was what the result was. So in terms of Furlong and Healy, we have two exceptional props.
Yeah, and there were 3 tries from that front five as well. And Ian Henderson contributed in a big way with that 25-metre break early on. I suppose that's the reason, whatever about Devon Toner being in the squad, Henderson's ability to do that is the reason he's starting anyway. And he called the lineouts today.
Yeah, he had an unbelievable game, Joe. I think, starting off with that break, when he just ripped through 2 Scottish defenders, and they weren't placed to make tackles, but he just has that extra acceleration, and he's very dynamic. We saw that on the Lions tour. We saw that on every occasion he has got, but he seems to took his game to a new level today. Obviously, we know the exceptional ability of James Ryan, but Henderson was phenomenal today. So was Under Fleur's decision making, I think, to attack the ball and to slow it down, or else not to waste himself in the defensive line was really interesting to watch, because there's a lot of skill involved in that, and there's a lot of understanding of the game. But also, I think what helped, which probably won't be as easy going forward, is that you have a scrum half in Laidlaw who's a structured player, and you have an unstructured player in Finn Russell playing at 10, but I thought that they contradicted themselves, and they didn't help Scotland's performance.
Further back then, talk to us about Conway and Larmour in particular.
Yeah, there was some a great steal out wide from Jordan Larmour. Everyone talks about his defensive or frailties, but I wouldn't be too sure. He was really strong and sturdy under the high ball, and he obviously poached the ball from a difficult position to get any impact on a wide area ruck. So from that point of view, that's a massive plus for the back three. People who can do that, and Jordan Larmour, I suppose, would be. We all know what he did against Italy, and that was obviously a few levels lower in that game in the States, in Chicago, when he kind of looked like there was 29 people following everything he did. He was that good that day, but he looked really composed. He looked really well positioned, and I thought he was electric every time he got the ball. But also having that capacity to kind of turn Scottish potential pressure into a penalty for Ireland is a big plus. And yeah, Conway, I think, has always been exceptionally steady. Steady's probably harsh, but he's always been good every opportunity he's got for Ireland. But just shows how hard it is to get into that team with Earls and Carney there. So Conway was excellent. That try, I think obviously Conor was aware of space in the short side, but you've got to have a winger seeing that space, communicating that space, and there was a bit of finishing in that too, and he did really well to put it down with ease. And at Stockdale, I think you look at the benefit of good coaching, and Andy Farrell was all over the performance of Stockdale, and the fact that, I think there was a great close-up image of him smashing Hogg in a potentially dangerous situation, and that, you got to remember, he's only 21 and he's still pretty young in his international career, and the amount of confidence he'll get from that, I suppose, executing that decision that was put in front of him will be absolutely huge, and that's a great plus for Ireland today. I think Luke McGrath getting on. Carty looked very sharp when he got on. He struck the ball really well. He found space. He looked really at ease there. And probably the biggest winner of all was Chris Farrell, because of his. He seemed like a magnet to the ball, and we saw what he'd been doing for years in Grenoble, like playing the ball out of the tackle, and I think it was delicious just to see that kind of. One-handed offload behind his back, which was a good thing to do. He didn't need to do it, but I thought it was the correct player at the right time. So guys playing what they saw in front of them was a major plus.
And talk to us about the Irish defence then as well, because there were a few criticisms of that over the last month or so, and even you raised a few eyebrows at some of the decision making in certain games. So what did we see today?
Well, you saw the biggest statement of any team in the world this weekend: 3 points against a Tier 1 team in Scotland. It's an absolute massive plus, Joe. 3 points conceded at the start of a World Cup campaign. So defence wins championships. So already the 50% of their game is in a great place. The attack can always get better, but Ireland conceded 3 points. You can say that Scotland were limited. Ireland made Scotland look very limited because of the pressure they put them under in the front five, and they took the legs away, epitomised by the fact that Barkley was getting sick after 30 minutes. Yes, there was a humidity factor, but there was an incredible drilling which made the Scottish back row ineffective in the game. So there was, I suppose, questions about the defence in recent performances, but it just shows what winning collisions are. If you win collisions for the first 2 phases, you can really make the opposition's attack blunt, and that's what Scotland looked blunt today.
Yeah. And Johnny Sexton, he didn't take the kicks as the game went on. Joe Schmidt said afterwards he could have taken the kicks, but given the nature of the game and the winning margin at the time, they didn't want to risk it. But we saw him getting what looked like his hamstring rubbed at one stage when Murray was taking a kick. So He's not 100% anyway. You just hope he can get through the next couple of games. You can only read into it so much from far away, but you wouldn't have often played games where you kind of left the kick in because your hamstrings were tight, but I mean, look, everyone's body is different. How big a worry might that be?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would think that Ireland need Johnny to kick to win a World Cup, and I think that would be obviously a big concern for armchair supporters like ourselves, you know. Conor is a good kicker, but he's not a tested kicker, and you don't want him doing that. And obviously, if Johnny's on the pitch, it means that there isn't another 10 that can kick. So that would probably be the area that you'd have to keep an eye on going forward, because Johnny played 56 minutes, was it today? So it's quite, quite a lot of game time for Jack Carty. So hopefully there's nothing sinister there. And what was encouraging was he took the restart of the second half, and he handed over the kicking in the first half. So I presume it was just probably one of those decisions he made early in the game, and kind of said, Conor, you step up for the kicks, and I'll try and run the game.
Coach's dilemma then as the tournament goes on. Say Sexton says, look, I can get through games, but I can't really take on the kicking, and I can't practice enough during the week to take on the kicking in matches, but I can play the games for you. Does that elevate Jack Carty in then? Does he have to go in?
Well, the reality is that, Johnny's 34 years of age. All his kicking credits are in the bank. He doesn't really need to train, because he can just tap into his muscle memory for that. He'd obviously want to be getting one good session in a week, and I think, judging by what we saw today, that should be no problem. But I think that is a tough dilemma for any coaching group, and the fact that if you're on the pitch, you're expected to kick. So maybe today was probably the exception to the rule. In fact, the margin of which Ireland were comfortably ahead at 19-3, everything was under control, and maybe Johnny could hit him at 80, but there'll come a time when he'll need to hit him at 100, and if he's not able to hit him at 100, then it creates a difficult decision into who's going to, at cup rugby, you're going to need a few 3, 6 and 9 points to keep the scoreboard ticking, which he's the best at.
Yeah. So what are you doing?
I'm saying, Johnny, you're kicking, and that's, if he can't kick, then he's probably going to have to go off.
One of the things we talked about in the build-up to this World Cup was this kind of cliched question. I know it became over time. Would we see anything different from Ireland? One of the stats which caught our eye here was that Ireland had 92 passes from hand. Murray and Luke McGrath accounted for all but 29 of those 92 passes. So, maybe it was the day for it. Maybe when you're against a team that you can physically dominate, that's just what you do. But I mean, if you take it that what we could do to Scotland physically, South Africa potentially might do to us, there's still that question mark hanging over things a little bit, I would suspect.
I'm not too sure. I was disappointed with South Africa. I thought New Zealand didn't kick on when that South Africa did, and South African game for 15 minutes looked very average at stages yesterday. They got it back into the fight, but I think New Zealand always had them under control. From Ireland's point of view, I would look upon it a little bit differently, Joe. I think at 19-3, Ireland are in a great position. Then the wet weather rubby came in.
Yeah.
And you could see how Ireland manufactured the score from Conway with a great box kick, landed 1 metre outside the 22, 50-50 ball. Scotland knock it on. Great scraps from Larmer. Sets up the ball, doesn't panic, creates the rough one-pass score. So that was 24-3. At that stage, I think you're just kind of bonus point in the bag. The players are going, well, Scotland haven't brought much to this. We don't need to do that much more. But for the first 40, I thought Ireland were excellent. Absolutely excellent. I think you look at, I think all the forwards had games that they should be very proud of. Conor Murray was exceptional in the first half. Johnny was quietish. Bundyaki was sharp when he was on. Ringrose was incredible. His capacity, I think, to nullify Hogg was brilliant in the 13 channel. Stockdale was sharp on both sides of the ball, and Larmer and Conway were excellent. Then Farrell came in and took his performance to, I would say, a PB level for Ireland. Carty was excellent. McGrath was good. The back row, obviously there was injuries earlier on, so Conan did very well for the whole game. CJ was exceptional for the whole game. Rory Best was phenomenal in terms of his capacity to slow down the Scottish ball. He was just testing Wayne Barnes right to the limit in terms of just getting his head on the ball enough and then taking his hands away to slow it down at ruck time. It's a great skill involved in that. And it's a hard place to put your head consistently. So from that point of view, what it has created now is massive internal competition for places, which is exactly what the coaching group wants.
So you think that first 40 Irish minutes before the weather came in and the game effectively died, do you think that first 40 causes South Africa problems?
I don't know, but I don't think that's how I'd look at it, Joe. I think today was Scotland, and first game of a campaign of a little bit of maybe not internal question marks around the squad, but certainly after the English performance in Twickenham, we got the show back on the road against Wales, and that was up another 3 levels today. So it is really, Ireland, the goal today was to get Ireland up and running. They're motoring after today, if you ask me. Whether it poses problems for South Africa, I don't know, but the game plan, and I suppose the goal today was to beat Scotland, but to beat them with a bonus point and convincingly as we did is really satisfying.
Well, I'll switch it then. What did you see in South Africa that you thought, well, that's a vulnerability, that's something potentially that could be taken advantage of? What kind of things?
Well, I think Joe Schmidt is a genius at picking weaknesses, but he like what he sees in Colby and Willie LaRue. In defensive, I think aerial bombardment. Also, I think you can see if you slow down, if they don't win as many collisions as they're used to winning, they revert to the air. Ireland have a very good aerial game. And I think there are opportunities, off scrum. Ireland's scrum is probably going to be the best in the competition, judging on today. So that's a massive... I don't think South Africa have more football from us, far from it. So they had a really good game that bullies teams, and they talked themselves up with having a brilliant defensive line speed game. But you could see yesterday that New Zealand picked it apart at times. So Ireland would be well able to do that as well. And
it was amazing to watch that game yesterday, because the first 15-20 minutes it looked like that South Africa pressure game, the line speed, as if they were just swallowing up New Zealand at times, and then suddenly bang, space of 5-6 minutes the game turns on its head. What was your reading of that? Like, were New Zealand just figuring out how to get around that, or were they genuinely under big pressure?
I think that's just... There are some teams that are exceptional in playing in unstructured rugby, and that's what New Zealand thrive on. That's what they practice Monday to Friday turnover ball or chaos rugby is what it's called. So their skills are really good. They feel very comfortable throwing props. Anyone throwing passes off turnovers, their capacity to, I suppose, turn defence into attack is better than any other team in the world, and the George Bridge try, I suppose, epitomised that.
Yeah. There have been a few grumbles about refereeing and about the offside law in particular, not least when it comes to New Zealand. What do you make of the general standard of refereeing thus far?
That's a great question. I thought Wayne Barnes was very good today, probably because Ireland were so dominant, maybe, in the fact that there weren't tough decisions that we were getting heated about. The Italian-Namibian game was pretty free-flowing. Yeah, I think there's a massive emphasis when you're refereeing South Africa and New Zealand, because all these teams that like to get off the line hard, where it actually is the back foot, and do you take an extra half a metre? Can you afford to take an extra half a metre? Because you're talking about split-second decisions. So there will always be one or two contentious calls, but I think you have to have the opinion, Joe, that it isn't decided by one or two of these calls. There's another 78 and 79 minutes in the game that you have potential to shape your game.
What about the style of play that we're seeing generally, and how it's interacting with the weather and the pitches? There was France-Argentina was a good game, and Australia-Fiji as well, plenty of try-scoring games there, and then maybe a bit more Northern Hemisphere traditional today. In general terms, quality of what you're seeing, styles of what you're seeing, any trends jumping out at you?
No, too early so far. What is obvious, obviously, is that teams are going to be able to have to adapt their games, because it's not all going to be running rugby. You look at the difference between South Africa and New Zealand and the interesting game today, and the fact that it was lovely conditions. It looked like in the first half maybe with a potentially tricky win, but then the second half a bad shower came in, it seemed like, and the ball was extremely slippy, but the skill levels are still good, I think. Guys running holes, obviously. There's defences are smart too, and they shut down the space, and there's a few knock-ons, but the attacking shapes and teams are looking really good too. I think it's going to be some brilliant games ahead.
Okay, well listen, our time's coming to a close. So in short, and you've been part of good World Cups and bad World Cups, the most important thing today is no sense of panic or doom and gloom or what's happened, but almost a feel-good factor in camp now.
Yeah, Joe, a lot more positive than that, I would think. A great start. I don't think you can get much better. Obviously it concerns Peter O'Mahony won the Aki, because you need these guys, because it keeps your bench strong again, as opposed to taking them out. But I think with the amount of back injuries they're going into this weekend, in terms of Carberry, Carney, Earls, and who was the fourth I'm missing? One more I'm missing, isn't it?
Henshaw,
exactly. You look at that, so there's going to be what do they say in the hurling terms? There's going to be there'll be hurleys flying on Tuesday and Thursday of next week, with the four of them just coming back into it.
Yeah.
There won't be anything safe, but there'll be boys clipping each other in training. That's for certain. Good. Because that's Carty's capacity to identify space was a big positive when he came on. A few nice little chip kicks over, wasn't it? Impressive. Because that usually wouldn't be seen. It's great to see a young player trust his instinct and play like that. And then I think Farrell was brilliant in everything he did. And if one of the other four was available, probably Farrell wouldn't have been on the bench. So now he said, "Well, boys, I'm here to play."
Yeah. Listen, we'll let you go. Thanks so much.
See you, Joe. Great to chat. Thanks.
Cheers. Ronan O'Gara with his very upbeat take on Ireland's 27-3 win this morning in Yokohama. Bonus point win. Ronan obviously mentioned Ian Henderson and his performance there. Joe Schmidt was asked specifically here, we've got a clip for you, the press conference audio is starting to trickle in, so we'll bring you as much as we can across the course of the afternoon. He was asked in particular at one stage about Ian Henderson.
Yeah, I thought he started the game really well. Obviously, we scored on the back of his burst. He is a powerful athlete. I thought he really accelerated well, got through those first couple of tackles. He worked his way around the pitch really well. Our line-out functioned really well with him and James Ryan sharing the responsibility of calling the line-out. And, defensively, he worked really hard, closing the gap. You can't afford to give Scotland any space at all, either on the outside or they play those trail runners, and I thought Ian Henderson was alert the whole time.
Okay, we'll come to the front row here and then behind.
Rory, can you talk through your emotions when you not only get your fourth World Cup but also get a try in it?
Yeah, look, it was. I think it was a good start for us. I think when you start the tournament against a team like Scotland, you have a lot of nerves. You know you have to play well. You know you have to start well. And look, I think for us to get a couple of, for the forwards' point of view, to get a couple of tries in tight, it's pleasing. But look, I think we know that it's just a start. And we need to get better. And yeah, look, I think it's nice to have played in 4 World Cups now, but ultimately from a personal point of view that means nothing. That goes to the side, and it's about making sure that we get better as a collective as we go along.
There you are, Rory Best alongside Joe Schmidt in the post-match press conference this morning in Yokohama. Later on, Chelsea-Liverpool coming your way. Nathan Murphy and Brian Kerr on duty at Stamford Bridge. Before that, just after 2 o'clock, we'll bring you Manchester United away to West Ham with Stephen Doyle and Gary Breen. But in the meantime, we're going to continue the rugby. It is with thanks to Vodafone. Team of us, everyone in. Keith Wood going to join us in a couple of minutes' time.
Off the ball on News Talk. Taking Stock with Vincent Wall.
Each week, Taking Stock takes a wider view of the world of business and finance. This week, the president of Microsoft, Brad Smith, joins us for an extended interview on the responsibility of big tech companies in terms of data protection and privacy. We also discuss the threats to democracy and cybersecurity in this new digital age.
Taking Stock with Vincent Wall
Brought to you by PwC.
on News Talk.
Download the podcast now on the Go Loud app or wherever you source your podcasts.
Fly Ryanair, Europe's lowest fares, lowest emissions airline, and get up to €30 off return flights. So whatever you're after, a bit of winter sun, a ski adventure, or a fun-filled city break, you'll find the lowest fares on Ryanair.com. Ryanair, lowest fares, lowest emissions. Limited availability. See Ryanair.com.
I don't know. I'm not in that mindset.
I don't have time. Yeah.
It's just keep going, and maybe not thinking of those things. Whether it's a mental block, I don't know. Yeah, it's probably something we do need to think about.
We've never discussed it.
Jane, it would be a huge relief to know that you're financially secure in some way. It would be for the benefit of our kids if anything happened to either of us.
No one should spend time thinking about the worst things that can happen. That's why VHI has made setting up life insurance simple. Search VHI Life and get a quick quote, or call us on 1890 444444. VHI Healthcare DAC trading as VHI Healthcare is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland and is tied to Zurich Life Assurance plc for VHI Life Term Insurance.
Is there an easy way to go green and save some money too? In this week's Sunday Independent, don't miss the Little Green Book with 50 smart eco ways to reshape your home and garden. In Property, get our guide to new homes with tips for first-time buyers, how to boost your mortgage chances, and what to look for if you're downsizing. Plus, the inside story of the investigation into the murder of Rachel O'Reilly and Maeve Sheehan on Quinn Country. The Sunday Independent, the complete read.
The 2019 Boyle Sports World Grand Prix Darts is back at the City West Convention Centre, Dublin from the 6th to the 12th of October. See 32 of the biggest darting stars on the planet, including world number 1 Michael van Gerwen, former Grand Prix champion Darrell Gurney, plus fan favourite Peter Wright. Get your tickets now at ticketmaster.ie and search darts. The 2019 Boyle Sports World Grand Prix Darts at City West. Game on.
Rugby season is back, and Lifestyle Sports is giving you the chance to win something very special.
The ultimate rugby year for you and 3 mates.
You could be headed to the Champions Cup final,
the Pro 14 final,
interprovincial games of your choice,
and get match day ready with kit bags full of jerseys,
new season training gear,
€400 in vouchers, and more.
Check out lifestylesports.com.
Lifestyle Sports Rugby on Insta,
or buy any jersey in store or online for a chance to win.
Live rugby with Lifestyle Sports.
Free yourself from fees with the On Post Money current account when you shop with any of our money back partners, like Lidl, Intersport Elveries, On Post Insurance and Supermax. Customers have earned as much as €200 in a month. Search On Post Money current account or visit your local post office to find out how you can free yourself from fees. On Post Money current account for your world. Money back is based on spend with selected money back partners. See onpost.com. Terms and conditions apply. On Post is authorised by the Minister for Finance to provide payment services and is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland in the provision of such services.
Listen up, class. Aldi's Play Rugby sticker promotion is back. Collect official Irish rugby stickers every time you spend €30 in Aldi. Fill your primary school's poster for a chance to win one of 2 €50,000 prizes or one of 10 €10,000 prizes for your school's playing facilities. Tomorrow, Japanese for beginners. Konnichiwa, kids.
Konnichiwa, sir.
Aldi, official supermarket of the IRFU. Full details at aldi.ie/playrugby. Promotion runs 10th of August to the 8th of November 2019.
Are you looking for a new used car? Look no further. At carnext.com, we select only high-quality used cars, younger than 5 years old, selected and perfected. So you can enjoy any car, anytime, anywhere. At carnext.com.
Get Rugby World Cup ready with a QLED television from Samsung. The much sought-after Q90R flagship QLED 4K Smart TV allows you experience exceptional viewing in all lighting conditions, with precise, pin-sharp contrast across the whole screen. For more information and a full demonstration, call into Power City today.
No matter where I wander, I'm still haunted by
Christy Moore.
The wise men came stern and
live at the INEC Friday, March 13th. Tickets from €42 go on sale this Thursday at 9 a.m. May be subject to fees.
We're going on a bear hunt. We're going to catch a big one. What a beautiful day. We're not scared. Uh-oh, grass. Long, wavy grass. We can't go over it. We can't go under it.
Oh no! We've got to go through it. Swishy swashy, swishy swashy, swishy swashy. Reading with children inspires reading for life. Switch off and read with Ethan.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Now then, you're welcome back. So Premier League commentary on the way this afternoon. 2 o'clock, West Ham against Manchester United coming your way. Stephen Doyle and Gary Breen are at the London Stadium for us. No Paul Pogba for Manchester United today. It's Madic and McTominay in midfield. Ahead of them, Daniel James, Juan Mata, Pereira and Marcus Rashford leading the line. Will be over to the London Stadium at around 5-2 or so. England-Tonga has gone full time. England 35, Tonga 3 is how that's finished. Keith Wood with us, hello.
How are you, Joe? Are you well?
Very well. So that was more than acceptable this morning, I would think.
We'll definitely take that. I thought it was a fantastic performance. It was a joy to watch, and even as the conditions got more drastic, it didn't seem to tilt us off our composure. So it was brilliant. Really, really good. Really, really impressed.
So where do you want to start? What in particular jumped out at you and made you think, I like this, I like the look of this?
If I go back to the English warm-up game, which we were fairly circumspect in relation to it. The one thing that annoyed me in that game was our lack of line speed, our lack of a big push defence, big press defence, and maybe our lack of aggression. We had all of that today. I mean, so I didn't get too bogged down in that game a few weeks ago for that reason, that I thought it was pretty much a warm-up game and we were out of kilter. We were fully in kilter. I just thought our forwards led with a level of aggression and accuracy, and our defensive setup off ruck, maul, line out was incredibly intimidating. And now I thought Scotland were abject. And I really did. I thought they were really poor. I didn't think they fired a shot the whole game. And I think it was entirely down to Ireland's treatment to them in defence. I just think they were under pressure all the time. I think Finn Russell can be, they call him mercurial. He can be fantastic. But all the intricate passes that he likes to pull just didn't work in this instance. Nobody seemed to be able to catch anything. So, and I thought an awful lot of that was down to pressure.
It makes sense that it would be down to Ireland and down to pressure, because they were talking such a good game, the Scots, in the build up to this, saying they had the best 10-day camp they'd ever had, and that they were in this tournament to win it, which is frankly kind of a farcical line, especially now, and not many put too much stock in it even when they said it. But given that they were feeling so good about themselves and were so abject, you would have to give Ireland the majority of credit for that, unless we see Scotland completely tank over the next couple of weeks.
Well, I think Scotland might suffer a little bit over the next few weeks, because it's fine. If you talk yourself up, you need to back it up. They backed it up with nothing today. I was looking at Johnny Gray going off the field after about 60 minutes, and he looked utterly dejected. But it was the first time we mentioned him in the 60 minutes, and so it's about players actually doing different things and getting over the gain line, or having a game moment, like a really good carry, or a really good tackle, or really good offload or follow-up. There was very little of that from Scotland, and I thought they looked shell-shocked. I thought their body language looked awful, and in stark contrast, I thought Ireland seemed to be in control of what was happening. Now, I'm not getting carried away. I'm not at all, because I do think Scotland were poor. But for me, it was great, because everybody was nervous beforehand. I was looking at the players going out onto the field, and you're just saying, "Oh God, this is a big game for him. Oh, it's a big game for him too." And then you look at Rory Best. Jesus, it's a big game for him, and he's under a lot of pressure, and he should be under a lot of pressure. He is 37 years of age at a World Cup. So every time he now steps on top of a field, he has to deliver. There's no second chances really for him. And he is under pressure as captain, under pressure as a player, as everybody under pressure, because he's an old player. And he delivered, which is one of the great joys of it. It's why he had been getting a second chance. That's the best game he's played in 12 months, easily, I would say.
And trying to put these 24 months into context then, looking at what Ireland tried to do today and how they went about their business, is that pretty much the blueprint that was used in 2018? Was that basically what we saw again, just done better than we had already this year?
I think there was a bit of that, but I also think we were playing against a team, and this is where I kind of hold total excitement in check. So I'm delighted after today. Let's not take that away. But we were playing against a team who didn't fire a shot, who didn't have heavy players, powerful players. I got a shock yesterday watching New Zealand and South Africa. I thought it was a phenomenal game. Actually, I thought as an opening weekend for a World Cup, I haven't seen its like. It was fast, furious. Players are all cramping after 50 or 60 minutes, and people are trying to figure out why. For one, I think the games are very fast. For two, I still think these teams are all looking, the big teams, are all looking to peak in 3 or 4 weeks' time. I don't know that they're looking to peak today. They're not, in fairness. So I don't think anybody's really upset on the back of it. But I think there's elements of what was really good 18 months ago with Ireland. I think there was elements of that today. But there was also very few players dropped to standard, so there was not everything went our way. We had injuries to key players. But if an injury happened, the guy who came on did incredibly well, or the other players upped their game to cover it today. So for that, I am very happy with it.
I'm going to give you a very simplistic equation, and you can pick the holes in it and give us a bit of hope as well. So Ireland physically dominated Scotland, therefore effectively bullied them and were able to kind of run over them. Ireland won't be able to do that to the South Africans. In fact, there's a distinct chance South Africa physically will be able to dominate Ireland. Therefore, they'll be able to do to us what we did to the Scots.
Yes, you are incredibly simplistic, Joe.
My brain can follow that equation.
There's an element of truth in that. But the view would be that Ireland are getting themselves into the World Cup. So they've done very well. They did the job they had to do today. They got a bonus point. I just thought they looked well and looked comfortable with how they were playing. So that's a really big positive. Will that work against South Africa is the question, if we were playing South Africa. Variations on that will work. We still absolutely have to meet the challenge. You can't step away from the hard, aggressive, heavy carrying forwards. You can't step away from them. You have to meet that challenge. But you may want to be more subtle when you have the ball in hand, and I think that's where the variation would come in for me. Like, we went back to kicking the ball quite a lot today. I thought that was the right thing to do, especially when it started raining. Like, it's nigh on impossible to catch it, and there was a lot of mistakes made. But there was mistakes made by every team over this weekend.
Sure.
So I like, without, I don't want to keep saying the same thing, but without getting too carried away, I just thought that was a really professional performance, and I was just happy for the guys, and I'm happy that they go into a game playing well. Take the view, what would it be like inside in the team room in Scotland at the moment? They talked themselves up for the last 10 days and got obliterated off the field. And to be honest, do you know what? I don't even know what the score is. I know if I look at it, I'll find it here in front of me. But it didn't matter. We had them beaten out of the park. There was a 5-minute worry I had, the 5 minutes after half time, that will we back up we were in such control in the first half. Will we back that up at the start of the second half? Will we get ourselves in a position, or will we relax a little and suddenly Scotland get a breakaway try and something happens? And we didn't. So that's always the fear, because Scotland are entirely a confidence team and can play when it goes incredibly loose. And then it started raining heavily, and that was pretty much the end of it. So it was a very comprehensive victory. Yeah.
The first 20 minutes yesterday between New Zealand and South Africa were just incredible. The pressure that South Africa were putting on New Zealand when New Zealand had possession in New Zealand's half, it was frightening. You couldn't take your eyes off it. We talk about offensive defence. This was it crystallised, in the most vivid kind of a way. And then the twist in the plot is that New Zealand find a way.
Well, they find one bad pass, goes to ground, and they're ruthless when that happens, so they pounced on it first, they kicked it ahead, and there was a flood of players following to make that try happen. And once that happened, it was as if, for me, because I thought South Africa were brilliant for 20 minutes, and actually South Africa didn't give up at all. But for that 5 minutes after that one bad pass, the ball that went to ground, I thought, I think it was Pollard ran a kind of strange line and didn't put his hands up for the ball. And I thought the pass may have been correct, expecting a player to run onto it, and he stopped, and suddenly it goes to ground. But after that try, it suddenly was as if New Zealand upped a gear, but also there was a momentary doubt in South Africa. We have been in total control of this game. We are 3 points up. That's all. They score a try with their first foray into the South African half, and then immediately bang again, and immediately again. The second 20 minutes of that half were about as brutal and clinical and exhilarating as you're going to see in rugby. Conditions were very different to today, but I thought it was an incredible game, and I just felt the ball, it seems to be in play longer. It seems to be a little bit faster, and that's another challenge for us. We played fast today, but we didn't play fast running all over the field like the match yesterday. So it's intriguing. I just think people are willing and wanting to have a bit of a go. You look at Tonga against England. Tonga started so well because they're all able to play. And strangely, Tonga were able to meet a lot of the challenge, and especially their first 15 were able to meet a lot of the challenge of England's first 15.
What do you suspect Ireland do if they're in New Zealand's place for that first 20 minutes yesterday, caught up in this unbelievable pressure, defence, in your face, charging up? How do Ireland cope with that? Because there are echoes of the Aviva Stadium last February.
There are echoes of it, but it is about holding the line, and it is about not making mistakes. And so the brutal element that South Africa had wasn't cutting at depth and at pace, which did happen in the Aviva. So I'm not saying it's not the same. There's a lot of power in it, but it's a different type of challenge. You have to stop it, and you have to meet it on the gain line, because if it becomes fast, quick ball behind the gain line, you never end up with a proper defensive setup to be able to stop the next one and the next one. And then you're looking at a guy making a tackle on the side as opposed to a square on front up tackle.
And what about when Ireland actually have the ball? Because there were times where New Zealand, were suffocating under it when they actually had the ball in their own half, and South Africa were loving life. Yeah,
but Ireland tend to play that differently. Ireland kicked that ball far more readily and more comfortably. And there was a couple of kicks from Conor Murray today where he absolutely wasn't kicking to keep it in play. He was kicking to bang it into touch, but he was looking for a long touch with a box kick, and he got it. And it gives a bit of a breather at different times.
And that's the right thing to do.
Well, I think at different times it is, because you don't want to be playing in your 22 carrying the ball when you're being met with that onslaught that South Africa were giving to the All Blacks. So they were trying to carry it up a couple of times, but it was. Do you know what I loved about it? It was. I thought it was an incredibly clean game, but I thought it was an incredibly efficient game. So there were no high hits, there was no wreck. There was. Look, I think there's been a few problems with the refereeing of the high hit already, right? And I know that I can't think of his name, the Australian winger, has been cited now for his hit on Yato.
Reece Hodge, I think.
Reece Hodge, he's been cited, as he absolutely should have been, and it should have been a red card, in my view, for it straight away. But with the exception of one or two tackles in the opening matches, there seems to have been a level of control put in that there's not exocets flying in to clatter people. It seems, yes, they want to hit them, but they want to hit them hard. They want to hit them with an extra little bit of control. So what we saw on this weekend was a bit of control.
Well, there were plenty of scare stories before the World Cup, so maybe that's got through eventually.
And I think I think it's appropriate, actually. You know, and it's funny because people call this scaremongering and they say, well, you have to be able to do it. No, you don't. And it's only by having the laws as they are and by adhering to them as they should be. So I was very disappointed with the TMO for that hit on Yato, because there was no arm in the tackle. But to say that there's nothing to see is wrong. It's up to the referee to make that call. So he clattered him. He's trying to stop him, and he got himself tied up in an absolute knot. He's trying to hit him with his right shoulder, and he'd stepped in onto his left shoulder. He got into an absolute confusion for it. But it still was a collision that put the best player on the field off. You know, that's unacceptable. And if that had been a red card, Fiji were absolutely on top at that stage. That could have been a change.
New Zealand conceded 2 penalties against South Africa, and there were plenty of quibbles about certain infringements and offside. They picked their moments. It's not like they're always offside, but they picked their moments in a cynically brilliant way.
No, and it's funny because I've been channel surfing a little bit and listening to Liam Toland, who often works with us in our commentary, and he has a bugbear about the offside line, as do I, watching it. It becomes incredibly difficult when a scrum half picks up the ball. I think that needs to be tidied up when the ball is out. Needs to be tidied up a little bit because it's just a little bit too grey. So we used to have it entirely different in our day. When the scrum half put his hands on the ball, it was out. Right, and I'd quite like to see something like that again, because at the moment there's a lot of kind of pulling and dragging of the ball back. But it's the hindmost foot, and that's what we're looking for. And whatever it is about the particular angle that's the host broadcaster is having, we're seeing the angle looking down a little bit, a slightly different angle from the norm. But you can actually see that these guys are 2-3 feet ahead of the hindmost foot, so they are actually offside. So it needs to be tidied. But New Zealand give away a penalty. People criticise them for being cynical at different times. Look, it's not sport. It's not absolutely, let's do everything, just beautiful. This is the beautiful game. You're going to give away a penalty if you should give away a penalty.
Yeah.
That's why there's yellow cards for cynical fouls.
We are out of time. We'll talk Wednesday. There's loads more to pick through, I'm sure. So thanks so much for today. Much appreciated.
Brilliant. Pleasure.
Thanks very much. Keith Wood there talking to us, along with Ronan O'Gara this hour on Ireland 27, Scotland 3, a bonus point win. Ireland taking control of Pool A. They have Japan in 6 days' time. The early word on Aki and Peter O'Mahony is good regarding HIAs, but as to whether they're available for next week, that remains to be seen. So we'll bring you confirmed, detailed updates on O'Mahony and Aki as soon as we get them. On the way, Chelsea-Liverpool, that is coming up 4:30 with Nathan Murphy and Brian Kerr on commentary for that game. And in a few moments' time, West Ham against Manchester United, 2:00. We will have Gary Breen alongside Stephen Doyle. We're going to take a very short break. We are back in 2 seconds' time. We're going to check in with Owen Sheehan, who was in the stadium in Yokohama and has also been speaking to a few of the players. That's next.
West Ham versus Manchester United, live from London Stadium.
On Off the Ball.
With Paddy Power, the greatest football partnership since Shearer and Owen.
This weekend, News Talk is getting behind the Irish rugby team as they kickstart their campaign in Japan.
With thanks to Euronext Dublin, the new home of the Irish Stock Exchange.
You're a business owner, a decision maker, and a big thinker. You're the brains behind the business, but you're getting tied down by red tape, regulation, and legal jargon. It's time to find a CPA. A certified public accountant will give you direction on your road to success, so you can spend less time ticking boxes and more time thinking outside them. 100,000 businesses across Ireland trust a CPA with their finances. Visit cpaireland.ie and find a CPA to take your business anywhere.
Listen up, class. Aldi's Play Rugby sticker promotion is back. Collect official Irish rugby stickers every time you spend €30 in Aldi. Fill your primary school's poster for a chance to win one of 2 €50,000 prizes or one of 10 €10,000 prizes for your school's playing facilities. Tomorrow, Japanese for beginners. Konnichiwa, kids.
Konnichiwa, sir.
Aldi, official supermarket of the IRFU. Full details at aldi.ie/playrugby. Promotion runs 10th of August to the 8th of November 2019.
Hi, Maura here. Having worked in PH Ross for over 20 years, I'm passionate about understanding our customers' needs. My favourite part is when they send me back pictures of their bathroom when it's finished. It's that connection you make and it's always there.
From conception to completion, Maura and her team are with you every step of the way. Discover the bathroom you've always dreamed of or the bathroom you'd love to dream in. Visit our showroom at PH Ross, just off the North Circular Road.
The Sport Ireland campus Blanchardstown is the home of Irish sport, not just for our athletes but for you in the community. Check out our amazing offers for families with kids camps, sport academies and birthday parties. Or for adults, why not join our gym with a 50-metre pool? Or your club, school, friends can book one of our world-class indoor or outdoor facilities, including our athletics track, soccer, basketball or badminton courts and many more. Check us out on sportirelandcampus.ie.
Bruce Betting, one of Ireland's leading bookmakers. With best odds guaranteed on UK and Irish horse racing, Bruce Betting has you covered. And with the Bruce Betting app, we're always giving you more. T's and C's apply. Bruce Betting, in-store, online and now on your phone. Over 18s, please gamble responsibly. See dunlewy.net.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Now then, welcome back. Let's go to Yokohama. Owen Sheehan, hello.
Hello, Joe. How are things?
Very well. So you've just been speaking to players and management. I presume everybody's feeling pretty good about this morning?
Yeah, absolutely. They're delighted, Joe, to be quite honest with you. I was saying last week that it did seem that the team had a very jubilant mood about it before the tournament had even started. It felt that Andy Farrell was almost trying to downplay just how good training had gone for fear of jinxing things. And it turned out that actually he was right, that there was a good mood in the camp last week and it transmitted itself onto the pitch, because really, how can you tell how good and how fluid a camp is going? Well, you can look at the performances of the likes of Andrew Conway and Jordan Larmour and Chris Farrell as well, especially I thought when he came into play today. They just slotted right into the team as if they'd been regulars and they looked fantastic today.
Anyone say anything of particular interest afterwards, or just generally, we're happy, job done, one game at a time, that kind of stuff?
No, actually, it was very interesting listening to Jacob Stockdale, listening to Andrew Conway. I think Rory Best even made a comment like this as well, that people had doubted them over the last couple of weeks. I think Andrew Conway said that we read everything, we see everything. We knew what the criticism was like, especially after the England game. And there was a tone of vindication after the game that they had proven a few of their doubters wrong. Now, Joe Schmidt said afterwards that South Africa and New Zealand last night was like a heavyweight clash, and today was like a middleweight or a light heavyweight clash. So he's not getting too far ahead of himself just yet. But there is a sense of relief, I think, a sense that, okay, they are back on track. And either today or the second warm-up game against Wales, I think, have to go down as one of Ireland's best performances of 2019.
Yeah, I think there's a general sense of relief. Any firm word on Aki or Omani at this stage? Probably a bit early.
A bit early. HIA for both of them. Joe Schmidt said it takes 6 days for a HIA to turn around. So Japan, it's 6 days. Yeah, okay. That'll be a story over the next couple of days. They're not going to be back. He said Johnny Sexton is fine. He said that twice, which is interesting. If your out half, who is a World Player of the Year, is fine, you'd imagine he's taking goal kicks, but maybe he had a knock that he ran off in the middle of the game or something like that. So a few question marks around Johnny Sexton and what exactly is going on there.
Well, it's true, because we had Ronan O'Gara on earlier on and we were asking him about that dynamic, and he said, look, as this thing goes on, if you're the coach, you just have to turn to Sexton and say, I need you to kick. Like, if you're out there, you have to kick. I can't have Conor Murray kicking in big games.
Well, that's exactly it. It's very unusual. Murray as well not exactly flawless off the tee as well. We can't be relying on him. Jack Carty looked good when he came on though, but we can't have a situation where Jonathan Sexton is on the pitch and not goal kicking. It's very unusual, but also not the first time this has happened. Like I'm sure O'Gara mentioned it as well this morning, that we saw it this year Six Nations, didn't we? That when Jonathan Sexton was on the pitch in the previous match, he also fails to goal kick. So it's an unusual one. It's one that's going to come up in the press conferences this week, you'd imagine, when the team moves down to the south of Japan.
Yeah. Listen, the line's kicking up a touch and we have to go to West Ham. We might catch it. We will record a chat and play it out a little later on in the show, but for the time being, Owen Sheehan in Yokohama, thanks very much. We do have a short ad break and then teams are coming out at the London Stadium. So West Ham against Manchester United is live next.